हाँ, यूएस वो तो बैक करता है इसराइल को, बट ऑन द अदर हैंड जो इसराइल के खुद के पार्टनर्स थे, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल जर्मनी, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, उन्होंने भी अब हाथ खड़े कर दिए हैं.
Everybody in the world talks of two states. Can anybody tell me where have they ever said where the second state is going to be?
No.
I rest my case. And to keep an eye on the Jews is where all these people who claim themselves to be Palestinians have been brought. The Arabs themselves don't consider them as Arab. The whole battle is to defang the Hamas. It is not that they haven't got money. They get enough food, but that is kept by Hamas for themselves.
Correct.
It is the Hamas which is causing the hunger. Billions and billions of dollars have come there, but the Hamas used it to create their military infrastructure, the underground tunnels and other things, rather than providing anything.
The only power right now is India.
India today has that potential because of its internal consumption. It needs these manufacturing hubs to start, which is what Trump is trying to stop.
You're going to see a lot more. You're going to see so much secondary sanctions.
86 is when Ziaul Haq decided to go the radical way and the whole teachings changed. Till 86, in every matrix, it was well above India. 41 years down the line, you are looked upon as the next big thing happening. Pakistan is compared with sub-Saharan Africa. Look at the kind of heroes welcome they got after they did in October 7th and came back. उनके लिए वही है जो what we say, that we will see no difference between perpetrators of terrorism and supporters of terrorism. It was actually supposed to be a three-front attack on Israel. Hamas doing this and going back. Veshipanti that they did out there was not part. Whole planning was done by the Chinese, by the way.
Chinese?
Yes, the whole been made by the Chinese for that. Hamas is not going to stop in a hurry because Hamas is not agreeing to give back. Because the question which will start coming up is now, most of them I think are dead. So why did they die?
नमस्ते, जय हिंद. मेरा नाम है जयेश गंगन और ये है द अवारा मुसाफिर शो, एक ऐसा पॉडकास्ट जहां हम बात करते हैं भारत के पास्ट, प्रेजेंट और फ्यूचर की. आज के इस पॉडकास्ट पे मेरे गेस्ट है मेजर जनरल राजीव नारायणन जी. इस पॉडकास्ट पे हम बात कर रहे हैं इजराइल, ईरान, पैलेस्टीन, हमास, इस पूरे चक्कर के बारे में. हम बात कर रहे हैं मिडिल ईस्ट के बारे में, या वेस्ट एशिया जिसे हम भारत में कहते हैं, उसके बारे में. ये पॉडकास्ट बहुत ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग है क्योंकि इसमें आपको ऐसे इंसाइट्स जानने मिलेंगे जो कि आपको शायद ही कहीं और मिले भारत में. मेजर जनरल राजीव नारायण ने हमें एक्सप्लेन किया कि इजराइल और पैलेस्टीन का ये इशू एग्जैक्टली है क्या और क्यों इजराइल अब उतर आया है हमास को खत्म करने पे. ये पॉडकास्ट बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है, सो इसे एंड तक जरूर देखिएगा. दिस इज फॉर ऑल द जियोपॉलिटिकल नर्ड्स आउट देयर. सो विदाउट एनी फर्दर अडू, लेट्स डाइव इनटू इट इन 3, 2, 1. Basically, the only power right now is India. Or like, would you say कि it's a mix of like जो हम कल बात कर रहे थे कि 2-3.
No, see, essentially, India today has that potential
Okay.
because of its internal consumption and the range, scale and depth in skill and other things that it provides within the country. It needs these manufacturing hubs to start establishing there. Now, like GE has shut shop. I'm sure the government must be talking to GE to come here.
Right.
Set up shop. So that way, if various MNCs come in and start setting shops here, that will see your rise increase further, which is what Trump is trying to stop. But it may not happen because it makes economic sense for them to come here.
Okay.
Maybe 100 years down the line, it may not make that much economic sense, where somebody else may have a lesser cost of production than you. It's a cycle. But today you are providing them the best cost without subsidies like China. China mein gaye the, they gave them tremendous amount of subsidies. In fact, BYD is making a profit in Europe because it is selling at below cost price. That is the kind of subsidy the government is giving, little realizing in macroeconomics it doesn't work. Doesn't work. Their own other companies are now getting angry about the subsidies being given to them. He's not paying his ancillaries. He pays them with an IOU that you come back after so many days. Those people are selling those IOUs to other people to raise money for themselves. Such a thing doesn't work. I am reminded of the days when we were in NDA or IMA. IMA में तो चलो, we had our bank accounts by then, you were adults. But in NDA, you would be given a check. You went to a money changer, signed in front of him.
Hmm.
He would check that. You gave it to him so he could go and draw the amount.
Right.
And for 100 rupees, he gave you 90. 10 rupees he kept for himself. That is the kind of IOU which is going on in China with the ancillaries. How can your nation survive on an economy like
Correct.
this? And then you try to tell me that no, my GDP is going. We spoke about the GDP. If there is only expense and you're not looking at the revenue earned, what kind of GDP is that?
Correct.
Now, it is under this that he has announced that apna dam on the Yarlung Sangpo, okay, where the Great Bend is there. Good luck to him. How does he take his electricity from there? Because if he has your Xinjiang and Tibet can only take that much. Okay. So rest has to come towards mainland China.
Right.
I call it mainland China, which is the Han heartland. Immediately to the east of that place is Kangri Karpo glaciers. There are 67 glaciers. That means you have to go further north.
Correct.
The moment you go further north to take it out, there are 4 mountain ranges that you have to cross. Before you reach Chengdu, the Yangtze flows from there, the Salwan flows from there, then you have the this one, Mekong, 3. So 4 huge mountain ranges you have to cross. Good luck to him. But it is more for increasing the GDP, expenditure, state expenditure, and more for lining the pockets of the politicians who are sitting on the fence by Xi Jinping and his gang. That I'm announcing. Along with this, there was one more project with something like that they had announced. So you can line your pockets and vote for me. That is the problem today facing China starkly. So in that scenario, Russia also knows. Why will Russia, when he has a trusted friend in India, why will he join up with China, who's untrustworthy, and form a troika? The troika will be more likely Russia, India, and the global south. Rigs, not Rick. See, in BRICS itself today, in the global south, Brazil will also come. In the BRICS today, it is BRI. Essentially, I would say I, R, B in that order of priority. India, Russia, without which Europe can't survive. Because US has been pushing Europe to put similar tariffs on India.
Right.
They've not done. Why will they do it? मर जाएंगे वो तो. मेरे तेल से, अब नयारा ने दिखा दिया था ना उसको, तो मेरे तेल के बगैर तो वो तो मर जाएंगे. Do you hear even a peep coming out from Ursula von der Leyen? थप्पड़ पड़ गया उसको यार when she went and fell at the feet of Trump in Scotland. उन्होंने कहा तुमने तुम्हारी बेइज्जती कर दी. And who the hell are you to sign on behalf of us and commit to various things? So that is the issue today, na? Brazil is the outlier, had been very close to China, but Lula realizes he can't survive without India. He's also buying the additional oil that we have, crude that we have bought, and additional oil that we are making. He's also buying. उनको अपना हर एक को अपना सर्वाइवल चाहिए ना. एवरीबडी वांट्स टू ग्रो. Whereas the Americans want everybody to succumb to them. अब वो अमेरिका में वो दम नहीं रहा.
हाउ डू यू सी, मतलब कि जो इसराइल वाला इशू भी है एक ना, यूएस वो तो बैक करता है इसराइल को, कम्प्लीटली बैक करता है, बट ऑन द अदर हैंड जो इसराइल के खुद के पार्टनर्स थे, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल जर्मनी, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, उन्होंने भी अब हाथ खड़े कर दिए. आई थिंक दे हैव एक्सेप्टेड जो 2 स्टेट सोल्यूशन था, दे हैव गिवन पैलेस्टीन स्टेटहुड एज वेल. उन्होंने एक्सेप्ट कर लिया है वो. सो डू यू थिंक इसके वजह से भी एक जो रिफ्ट आ रहा है बिटवीन द यूरोप एंड यूएस, वन ऑफ द रीजंस इज इसराइल एज वेल?
Everybody in the world talks of 2 states. Can anybody tell me where have they ever said where the second state is going to be?
नो.
I rest my case. I have done a talk on this, and it appears Americans have taken one of the options I had given. I had said either the whole of West Bank is given to them, West and East Bank, which I said is last priority. There were 2 options I had given. One, which I had felt was on the western portion of the Sinai Peninsula.
ओके.
At the bottom peak जो बनता है Sinai का, उधर पे west पे, in the middle there is a road also which comes there. There is a port also out there overseeing the Red Sea. That they are brought here and placed here, and as a nation you have a place to stay. And the second option I had given was north on the Mediterranean Sea, much west of the Gaza and all, between Gaza and Suez Canal. There is the road which runs along the periphery, and there is a port also out there. Americans have homed on to this option. See, the Gaza going, whatever Trump may say, in that I had mentioned that Israel should control north, demilitarized center, and the rest should go to the south till a decision is taken where the state actually should be. West Bank I had negated. I'll tell you why. Trump in his first term had said Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, and he shifted his embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
Okay.
That is already done.
Yeah.
The American embassy runs from Jerusalem,
Jerusalem, correct.
not Tel Aviv.
Correct.
There was a lot of brouhaha. The Democrats raised a shindy. Well, they had their term under Biden. Did they move the embassy back to Tel Aviv? So if bipartisan they have accepted that this is the capital, there is no question of West Bank being with Palestine. The name Palestine itself is a British construct. उसके पहले कहीं Palestine का नाम नहीं
करेक्ट,
है.
वो तो था ही नहीं.
This whole area used to be called the kingdom of during the Ottoman protectorate of Judea, protectorate of Jerusalem. It was in the within the Vilayat of Syria. All this used to be
Right.
part of the Syrian province, but it was a protectorate run directly by the Ottoman. The Ottoman Sultan. It was run directly by the Ottoman Sultan. And to keep an eye on the Jews is where all these people who claim themselves to be Palestinians have been brought. The Arabs themselves don't consider them as Arabs
करेक्ट.
because they're not Arabs. They brought in from all over the place. There are some gypsies, Circassians, and all the others brought there to oversee the Jews and report to the Sultan. The British gave the name as the Palestine post the First World War when they called it the Palestine Mandate. Now, from where they coined the phrase, the Britishers have to be asked. Because they're not Philistines. Philistines were finished thousands of years ago. They're nowhere there. Arabs don't recognize them as Arabs. And this forms part of the Arab land. If Arabs don't look at them as Arabs, then who are they?
करेक्ट.
So even today, everybody says, yes, whoever they may be, they should have a place for themselves. Where is that place going to be? So now you find that the Israelis are taken a call that these people will be around Khan Yunus and
करेक्ट.
this place, and they tweaked the Egyptians And the Egyptians agreed to that area along the port, which is overseeing the Mediterranean.
Correct.
So ultimately, at some point in time, they'll come there.
Hmm.
The telling is that embassy. If the embassy is in Jerusalem, there is nothing. And he never said West Bank, Jerusalem, or East Bank. He said Jerusalem.
Correct.
So for him, there is nothing as West or East. And so for the Americans, there is nothing bipartisan. There is nothing or West or East. Otherwise, Biden should have shifted the embassy back to Tel Aviv, which has not happened.
Okay.
So recognizing the state means nothing. Where is the state? See, anybody who understands states understands that an entity in West Bank, Ramallah, and an entity in Gaza doesn't work as a state. And no country worth its salt is going to give a corridor connecting those. As it is, Israel is such a small thing. If you say that you have to give a corridor, who will accept giving a corridor?
Correct.
So how does the country function? So you have a Palestinian Authority which has no control on Gaza, where Hamas rules the roost.
But even for the people living in Gaza, there was this statement, right? I think Netanyahu ने खुद नहीं बोला था या someone from the Israel government कि Gazans को South Sudan की तरफ shift करेंगे. And that is again a very bizarre plan कि आप इतने सारे लोगों को shift कैसे कर सकते हो?
South Sudan, maybe he was looking at some example, but what will they do in South Sudan? South Sudan are Christians. The whole break between North and South Sudan took place as a battle between Christians and the Muslims. And so the Christendom created a South Sudan. So for him to say that he's going to send him to the Christian, maybe to ire the Christendom in Europe, that you keep telling me, so we'll send him to that Christian country you created. But it appears more that they might be somewhere in the Sinai, closer to the sea, whether the Red Sea or the Red Sea, they may be saying no, because from the Gulf of Eilat, they're making a new canal, Ben Gurion Canal. It is the alignment of the canal which is causing all the problems in Gaza. Where will it get out? Saudi Arabia is on board primarily because if you make this canal where all VLCCs and everything come, then the new city that is making Neom, it becomes a commercial hub. It becomes a huge commercial hub because it is right at the mouth of the Gulf of Eilat. So that's why you don't find Saudi Arabia jumping too much about any of these issues. And the Suez Canal has its issues about the quantum of ships it can take and needs a lot of dredging. Not that this new canal will not need dredging. They might make it a wider one. It has to come somewhere in North Gaza.
Right.
Somewhere in that area, North Gaza or just north of it. And that was the background to why I said in my talk that that is the area essentially in Gaza that Israel needs to control. Have a demilitarized zone, depending on what kind of troops you want to place there, UN-based troops or any multinational troops, which will ensure that it stays demilitarized. And South is where, but the problem also is there's so many, close to 3 million people. To keep them in that narrow South is an issue. Egyptians don't want them. Jordanians don't want them, thanks to what PLO tried to do with the present king's father in 1969. The Lebanese don't want them. They've had enough of them. So no country in the Arab world trusts them. So this was the case. So somewhere they'll have to give them, not too far, close by, so that, like you rightly pointed out, even if you say I'm going to send them to South Sudan, how do you transship this millions of people? North makes sense. They can just be transported and shifted. There is a proper road available through Rafah. They go there and they settle down there. But before you settle down there, something has to be prepared and made. And the whole battle is to defang the Hamas, because it is not that they haven't got money. They don't get food. They get enough food. but that is kept by Hamas for themselves,
Correct.
and very little is given. So when the West says that Israel is causing the hunger, I would beg to differ. It is the Hamas which is causing the hunger,
Correct.
and not Israel per se. Even if you look at funding, billions and billions of dollars have come there. But the Hamas used it to create their military infrastructure, the underground tunnels and other things, rather than providing anything to their people.
True.
So that is the whole. And the problem is, the radicalization. Bulk of the population is radicalized. There are very few who are left out. They get easily suppressed. In the radicalization thought, which is there across the world, Muslim radicalization, they do not look of creating earth to be a peaceful heaven. They want it to be in strife so that he can die and go to heaven and he gets his 72 hoods. Whereas, if with that money you could have created heaven on earth, peace, yeah, everything will never always be peaceful, but it could have been a much better place. But you spend, look at Pakistan. Before radicalization, after radicalization. 86, I draw the line.
Correct.
86 is when Ziaul Haq decided to go the radical way and the whole teachings changed. Till 86, in every matrix, it was well above India.
Right.
41 years down the line, you are looked upon as the next big thing happening. Pakistan is compared with Saharan Africa. They have nothing. And people laugh, don't want to entertain their leaders because he comes with a begging bowl. With no plan, no concept of how he is going to repay the money earlier. This is, I think, the 24th or the 25th loan that he is taking. And today they are taking loans to pay previous interests. And they'll take fresh loan to pay this interest. There's no thought of returning the premium. That is the situation which Hamas is in. If they make a country and Hamas stays in control, this is what is going to happen. The stark example of
Correct.
Pakistan is there. That they'll only be taking money, taking loan to keep fighting, use it for terror, and not for the benefit of the people.
Correct.
So the West has to be a little clear, because they have been bought off totally, the leaders, by George Soros. George Soros or the Chinese or the Islamic Ummah, the radical, they look at a world without boundaries. But each has its own strategy and is using them to strategize their victory. Like George Soros is that there'll be no society. He wants to break the society, family, everything broken, so that there is one authoritative voice whom you will listen to.
Correct.
So there'll be a capo di tutti capi who will decide what is to be done. Then there will be a don for a particular place who will tell what is to be done, and everybody does that. If you look at the cultural revolution which Mao had brought in, was the same, to destroy the family. The kids were told to leak secrets of their parents if they were going against the Mao's thought, not communist thoughts, Mao's thoughts, to destroy the family. And for them, all the vassal states are supposed to pay them the money, and he will dictate what they are supposed to do. Something similar to what the extreme leftists are planning. And when you look at the Ummah, it is the caliphate. That the caliphate, the Khalifa decides what is to be done, and the local Khalifas will ensure it is done. So there is a similarity in thought of all these three, the extreme leftists, the Chinese, and the Khalifas. Because the Chinese use their methods to buy off the politicians, so that there is a dictator, authoritative dictator in power, who will listen to what the Chinese tell what is to be done in his country. So there is a similarity. But where they differ is, the Chinese want whole control. the extreme leftists want the whole control of the world for themselves, and the Muslim Ummah, the radical, wants to control the whole world for themselves. So till where they can cooperate and go forward, they're doing it. But each with his own purpose. Now, this is the kind of thought, the extreme leftist thought, in which most of the countries in Europe is caught in. So obviously they will make anti-Semitic statements.
Right.
There is no doubt they will make anti-Semitic statements. Then you have people who say, no, these kind of people are in minority. Bulk are not with them. So I will give you just two incidents. If bulk don't rise up, what happens? When the Nazis came to power, they came to power with just 33% seats. Seats, not votes. Bulk of Germans were not Nazis. Who died in the Second World War in mass? Who paid for Nazism? It was those who called themselves moderate. Like if you read the Battle of Dresden, it was air battle, bombed, firebombed literally. They don't even know how many died. The body had turned to water, green. Bones had melted. That was the kind of firestorm with bombing which took place in Dresden. Dresden hardly had any Nazis here.
This is called Battle of Dresden.
Dresden.
Okay.
The firestorm on Dresden. There are documentaries and things written on it. Okay. There were a few Nazis who were there. Who were the people who died? Now you take the Japanese. The hardliners were limited. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. How many hardliners were there and how many died? And who died? So if you don't rise up to be relevant against whom you call the moderates, in the ultimate analysis and when things comes to push, you become irrelevant.
Correct. So
never give this crap that they are moderates. There are only a few who are there. Doesn't work that way. If there are only a few, then the maximum have to rise to suppress that few. Understand the consequences if you don't rise up. And this is my direct message to the Muslim community. If you don't, then in the ultimate push, don't try come crying at that time that we were never part of it. Nobody is going to listen to you. The time is now to get up and curb the radicals before they become too strong for you to curb them.
And that is something which Israel has been doing.
Yes. So you have to, now within us, our society, it's a multicultural society. Now the people within that culture who are getting radicalized have to come forward to curb it. If you don't, then you pay the penalty.
True.
Ultimately, you will pay the penalty. Then you can't cry that I was not part of it. You'll be seen as part of it. Because in the ultimate analysis, you have to understand even in criminal law, seeing and not doing anything is equivalent to abatement.
Correct.
So abatement to crime is also there. So this is the issue which the radical Muslims are going to face. This is the issue the socialists are facing today. If you look at it, the pushback has started and a whole lot of nationalist parties are coming up whom they call extreme rightists. No, they are nationalists. Who call themselves liberals are extreme leftists who have nothing to do with nationalism. When there is a European Parliament with a set charter, please tell me who gave the authority to Ursula von der Leyen to go and sign an agreement on behalf of Europe?
Correct.
She doesn't represent Europe. Each individual country has its own rights as per the European Commission to do whatever bilateral trade they want. Who is she to go and say that the Europe will invest? So this is where the problem starts coming in when they try to behave that they are the rulers. When you look at leftists, they don't want any borders. But what they don't realize is, does the other side accept that there will be no borders?
Correct.
What is the other side using you for? Hungary has closed his borders. He's part of NATO. He doesn't accept anybody. Now look at what is happening on the streets in Western Europe. You're very clear. You can very clearly see those countries which did not permit these refugees, Muslim refugees, to come. They are not facing any problem. Most of Eastern Europe is not facing a problem. It's the Western Europe where this phenomena is, where they're coming on streets. I just saw, I don't know how true it is, but there is a photo which has come of a whole gathering of radical Muslims walking the streets of Sydney demanding Sharia law.
Okay.
You come to this? So, at some point in time, the Europeans will realize that the people of Europe will realize that the people whom they are electing may not be good for their country. And that is where I say, how long will EU last and how long will NATO last? A lot of the common man on the streets of Europe is sick and tired of this battle in Europe or in Ukraine. The latest is Trump having told and he has accepted and they'll have a talk and this, that. Then again, Hegseth making a statement, some give and take of territory. If you think Russia is going to give any territory, forget it.
Right.
Russia holds all the cards today as far as Ukraine war is concerned. European economy is in shambles. Their own experts are saying they're facing depression. They're facing depression. They have nothing left for their money. Recession is going to hit hard. What are they going to do? How much the people are angry that how much are you going to take my money to fund a war which has nothing to do with me? And without US, NATO is zero. You've taken a fight with the Russians for no rhyme or reason. Because US wanted to control all the minerals of Russia, which will never take place. So it was not your battle in the first place.
Correct.
Should have understood. Why was NATO permitted a eastward expansion? NATO was formed for the explicit task of countering Soviet Union. It lost its charter in, I would say, by 89-90 when the Warsaw Pact came after NATO. So when the Warsaw Pact collapsed and the Eastern Europe moved out of Soviet Union and 92 the Soviet Union collapsed, then what is the relevance of NATO? NATO saying I have an Indo-Pacific policy. Hello, good morning. Your North Atlantic Treaty has nothing to do with Indo-Pacific. If you say I have an Arctic policy, I can understand. Indo-Pacific with nothing available to you. So you have been used by the US. When will you realize that? When the threat of Soviet Union, that was a bogey also. When the threat, because I have asked the Europeans, you just tell me any time when the Russians have attacked Europe. Tsarist Russia never attacked Europe. The people who attacked and came till Europe were the Mongols. How are you obfuscating Mongols for Russians?
Right.
The Mongols came up to Vienna. It's their luck that the king died and so everybody had to go there to elect the new king. And they were never able to come back because whoever was elected, they fought amongst themselves. But they came up to Vienna on the Danube. Did the Russians come? The Europeans have attacked. The French under Napoleon and the Germans under Hitler. And he came into Eastern Europe to reconquer whatever Hitler had conquered and to get to Berlin.
Hmm.
That was part of war. Which is the instance where Russians have attacked.
Right.
That you say that there is a threat from Russia. Russia has always wanted to be a part of Europe, despite bulk of his landmass being part of Asia.
Yeah, that is true. Correct.
Russia has always looked at,
They have
because it is
always wanted
always
to be
white
a-
Russia.
right.
Russia is, they look at themselves east of Urals.
Correct.
They want to be part of Europe. You are the ones who are saying no. Why? Because you want to control the hinterland, where all the minerals are, the heartland, as it is called. If you had your good relations with Russia, you and Russia would be controlling the heartland.
Correct. Hmm.
That's where the whole problem rises now. You look on them as Slavs. You look on them as having Mongol bloods. They're not Mongols. So why this hatred for them? When you had to fight with Napoleon, you called him. Britain called him. Tsarist Russia fought with you. That was your alliance to counter Napoleon. Every time you have called, they have come.
Hmm.
So what happened now? Why are you so anti them? You may have been worried initially that it was under communist control. It's not. So there are certain things, deep thinking the Russians, the Europeans have to do within themselves, a lot of soul searching. कि ऐसी क्या बात है जो आप इतना घृणा करते हो रशियन से? किया क्या है उन्होंने आपके लिए ऐसा? Or is it because you were so scared of the Vikings? Yes, it is the same Norse people who came into Kevan Rus and then they have settled here. Is it that fear that you are taking out, that they are Vikings? If that be the case, then why are you having good relations with Norway, Sweden, Denmark? They are also Viking blood. Why? Britain is also Viking blood only. Original Britons तो है ही नहीं वहाँ पे. Normans are the Vikings. They had a huge kingdom there. तो क्या है जो आप, which is coloring your thought?
But so majorly, at the moment, like the whole world, we are seeing largely, अगर हमें बोलना है कि there are two major wars going on. One is the Russia-Ukraine wala cheese, and the other one is Israel and Hamas, the war on Hamas. I was in Israel right before the shoots we are doing. I came back from there 1 or 2 days back. The feeling which I got over there, because I was part of a delegation that had of a content creators delegation that had gone there. So we had the privilege of talking to people from IDF. We had the privilege of talking with people from the MFA over there. The feeling which I got was Israel is hell bent on destroying and decimating Hamas this time completely. They do not want to stop in between, because उनके लिए वो चीज़ें को जो हम हिंदी में कहते हैं सर के ऊपर पानी अब निकल गया. It is that for them. But what is the end goal? I asked them as well कि end goal, because if you're fighting Hamas doesn't wear a uniform. How do you then figure out कि कौन Hamas है कौन नहीं है? And they
That is
actually,
where I'm saying collateral damage is the
Exactly,
people who
because-
say they are moderates.
because we literally saw videos wherein the thing that you told about the food truck, the food aids that are going in, they are hijacking those trucks, and the locals, they want food but they are not giving them. They are running
They
starving
shoot them.
campaigns. Yeah, they are running starvation campaigns over there. So how do you fight this? Because this is
See,
not an army.
simple.
This is an
No,
ideology.
simple. My question to UN is one simple. You may scream, you may rant against the Israelis. Fine. Have you ordered the Hamas to return all the hostages?
Not at all.
Why not?
Because Israel is giving back like 60 hostages to get their one back.
What I'm saying is, why not? That tells you the anti-Semitism, depth of anti-Semitism. Has any European nation stood up and said, no, all? Only Trump has come and has started talking of it often, once in a while. Has any European nation stood up and said that all hostages have to be taken out? Hamas in their talks calls it prisoners. Have they taken Qatar to task? That how dare you call them prisoners? You accept from river to the sea, which is extermination of Jews. So then why are you crying when Jews are protecting themselves? All the hostages have been kept with civilians who have been ill-treating them exactly like the Hamas, abusing them and ill-treating them. Then what is the need to differentiate? Look at the kind of heroes welcome they got after what they did in October 7th and came back. तो उनके लिए वही है जो what we say, that we will see no difference between perpetrators of terrorism and supporters of terrorism. So they are saying we will see no difference between Hamas and the supporters of Hamas. Supporters of Hamas are civilians. You can say I'm a civilian. You can say I'm anybody. You're the same for me. उनके लिए भी वही है. लेके क्यों गए थे hostage? किया क्यों ये सब जो तुमने? It was actually supposed to be a three-front attack on Israel. Hamas doing this and going back. The Veshipanti that they did out there was not part of the plan. Whole planning was done by the Chinese, by the way.
Chinese?
Yes.
Please tell me about this, sir. How did the Chinese come here?
The whole tunnel thing and everything has been made by the Chinese for them.
Okay,
The whole planning has been done by the Chinese for them. The whole structure of Hamas has been created by the Chinese, like the Communist Party of China.
But what does China want over here?
Relevance in the Middle East.
Hmm.
They felt the vacuum. Throw out the remnants of this thing. They could be the least bothered. Whoever is dying far away from his boundary. What difference does it make to him? Hezbollah was to attack, and the Quds brigade was ready in Syria to attack. But when they saw what happened in October 7th, Hezbollah and the Quds brigade held back, that we can't be seen as supporting this kind of bestial behavior. So the three front failed, and then everybody, it's gone. Everything is over now. The whole tide of what the Chinese hoped to gain there is over. China also kept quiet. They never thought that this kind of bestial behavior will take place. So the Pakis were also in league with them. They were LET people out there training the Hamas how to go about doing it.
They were here.
One of the leader, the unknown gunman killed him in there. That's when they got so scared that you have your unknown gunman there also who killed him.
Yeah.
So these were unfortunately what has happened at this level of left leaning, the Chinese and the Islamic radicals, for them lives of people don't matter. In any case, for the Americans, the lives of people in West Asia never mattered. Yeah. Why did they go into Iraq? Why did they go into Syria? Why did they go into Libya? For what? Just because the other person was not listening to you? Is that a valid reason? So, they do both kinetic and non-kinetic. Color revolution and all that. I would recommend to your readers to visit a website called alberteinsteininstitute.org, based in Boston. Has nothing to do with physics or Albert Einstein. It openly gloats and says it teaches 198 ways to overthrow a government. And in that, all this color revolution and all this is part and parcel of it. Even like your farmers, this thing, use your media. Were there any farmers? When it is a sowing season or when it coming to your cropping season, will a farmer leave his fields and come?
Even if he has like a leaning ideology, he won't leave. Because
His survival.
bread and butter hai, right?
That's his bread and butter. But if you have surplus people who help tend your farm, You have outsourced your farm to others. You can call yourself a farmer and you can get all these people. Small timer, he has a small patch of land whom you have given, you say, don't worry, I will feed you.
Right.
Where did they get all this money to set up camp and feed them and them to stay? There were liquor flowing every day. That's how all these revolutions are done.
Correct.
And with the media hyping it up, oh, the farmer talking this and this farmer talking that, and that is the farmer. So you created a hype over something which is not. These are part and parcel of how to overthrow a government. The first step is to go against the existing pillars of your country. So what is Rahul Gandhi and the ILK doing? Targeting whom? ECI, a constitutional authority. With nothing. They won't go to the Supreme Court with any affidavit. They won't go to the ECI with any affidavit. Just hold press conferences and others, and paid media and paid people on the YouTube and other places will spread it. These are part and parcel of how toolkits of how to go about doing.
So if this is step 1, what is like the step 2, step 3, step 4?
See, the whole aim is to subvert a country. Step 1 is demoralization, where you lose respect. So that is the step 1 which he is trying.
So
People lose respect.
for the
Then
institutions.
Institutions.
Okay.
When that happens, then you come to destabilization. Because he is now lost respect, now you can gain him and take him wherever, and then you destabilize. Mass destabilization, strikes everywhere, this happening.
So they'll be on
And-
streets.
Yeah, and no, that is the next stage when everybody comes onto the streets and
Okay.
everything happens, which is chaos. By then, you have built a leader who will come and say, I will protect. And then that leader is placed there.
Okay. This is something very similar which happened in Bangladesh as well.
Yunus.
Yes.
Something very similar how Zelensky came.
Yes.
The
yes,
Maidan,
yes.
the supposed Arab Spring.
Yeah.
These are those things. In Georgia also.
Correct.
This is given. We talk a lot about that Dandi March हुआ था या Quit India movement किया था, ये किया था, लोग आगे थे. How many were paid and by whom? To be blunt about it. आम जो दिन की दिहाड़ी करता है, can he come?
Not at all.
If he's coming, then who's giving him? Though this was for a different purpose, to overthrow the British. Here it is to overthrow an elected government.
Correct.
You may not like Yanukovych, but he was elected by the people. So you make people suspect the electoral process.
Right.
So that is what ECI thing is about, which is not working at the moment because he's told him to come. He doesn't come. How can you come when you have no proof? So that is the attempt. And then build the Maidan movement and chaos, and then bring in somebody and whom you want. And then you find if he's going okay, fine, but then he also becomes arrogant, power of absolutely corrupts also. Then again the whole thing starts and get a new person.
Right.
Some people feel 2014 was supposed to be Kejriwal's moment.
Yeah. I was just coming to that.
But he failed. India against corruption. But he failed royally. And so what came was out of the syllabus. And they have no answer to what came out of the syllabus because he doesn't work by their playbook. They only know to counter what is in their playbook. They don't know what is not in that playbook. And that's how they're not able to counter Modi. So the first mass movement was against Indira Gandhi. 71 war, she stood up against and just remember, Einstein Institute was established by a person called Gene Sharp. 74 he had written at that time this, how to overthrow. At that time it was 194, now they've added some lessons to made it 198. And the first testing lab was India. Railway movement, George Fernandez. It starts in Bihar with J.P. Narayan, and then the movement gains momentum, goes all across till the judicial process also is brought up to some extent, and her election is countermanded in Allahabad. They didn't expect her to invoke emergency. That was the background to emergency. Now, so when emergency got invoked, she comes again, opens up for elections in 77. By then, J.P. Narayan had understood the shenanigans of these people. He refused to stand for election. That I will not be misled by them. And then the Janta party came, and then we all know how it collapsed. So the aim has always been thereafter to try and see how to keep a very weak government in place. A coalition government or a weak government with outside support. That has always been their norm, so that the other weaker political parties in the coalition can be played about to work against them.
Is this why you think PM Modi in his recent speech he mentioned RSS? Because in the last elections he really lost votes. So and you need RSS.
No, he lost votes more because the campaign from the other side was a different sinister campaign with Modi's supporters. This is why you're going to vote. You vote or don't vote, he's going to win.
Correct.
So a lot of people didn't go to vote.
Yeah, that is also a factor. Correct.
That was the plan.
Hmm.
To counter that, now they are making. But yes, if you look at any place, the two leading places, people whom you will see who are working there. Number one, you will always find the RSS people out there working to help. And after them, you will find the people from Gurdwaras coming to help.
Right.
I don't see anybody coming else. The Muslims may say whatever they want. I have never seen any group of Muslims coming out to help people in distress. These are the two groups you will always see, who come, who help, provide food, provide shelter, provide necessary needs. Gurdwara is able to do it. It's not under the temples are not able to do it because they are under government control. The Gurdwaras, even if they want to, they are not able to. Some of them do. Like I'm a follower of Satya Sai Baba. The other one which goes all over the countryside helping them is the Satya Sai Seva Dal. Okay. Because they have a trust. It's not under the control of the government. You need money to do this. Other temples are not able to do it. It's under the control. Gurdwaras are able to do it. They have the money. So yes, they're doing it. Here in Mumbai itself, I've seen so many Gurdwaras, they give you such cheap or free dialysis and other support they're doing. That's effective use, not the Khalistani use. This is the effective use, good use of the money. The mosques and madrasas are not under the control of the government financially. Where are you? I don't see you. The Buddhist temples are not under the control of the government. The finances are with them. The Jain temples, the finances are with them. Where are you? So more and more people relate with this. Yaar, madad milta hai. They come to help. So if somebody says something who comes from that, you could say the group, he will listen. When I'm in need, he helps. This is what is being misused by the Khalistanis.
Correct. But so here's my question. If RSS has this kind of footprint and very strong
It's
presence,
now spread over 10 years.
but it has a very strong presence on ground.
Yeah.
In fact, even in Northeast, they have done phenomenal work. Why weren't we able to stop the conversions which happened in Northeast? If we
That
had
happened much earlier.
okay, but can we stop those now?
You can slow it down. Stopping is a personal thing. because their pockets are very deep. Money comes from outside. You're in desperate times. I give you the money.
Right.
See, the way in Central Asia, though now it has been stopped in a lot of other places, Syria and others, is a front of the radical Islam called Hizb ut-Tahrir.
Okay.
They work as on philanthropy. No, you have a problem, they help you open a shop, a barber shop. You need money for the barber shop, they'll help you set it up. So you are beholden to me.
Hmm.
So when I nudge you towards this side,
You have to.
you go.
Hmm.
And then comes the squeeze that if you don't do it, I'll take the money back.
Correct.
So that is the other problem that starts coming in. So
Hmm.
how do you, so before RSS, especially in Arunachal, which is not converted completely to Christianity, is the Ramakrishna mission.
Oh, yes.
Every remote, most of the remote villages have a Vivekananda Higher Secondary School. They are taught Hindi, they are taught our history, they are taught everything, they are taught about our scriptures. And I served almost close to 4 years there. I've gone to most of these remote places. You might find even from the helipad, I need to walk almost about half an hour, 45 minutes. But there on that remote hill is a school.
Hmm.
And they have never been touched by the terrorists and the insurgents there. Primarily, why? They train the teachers in the villages around, and they are the teachers. You will find max two, if not three, Ramakrishna Math Pandits out there.
Okay.
That's it. The school is run by the villagers themselves.
Interesting concept, yes.
And so they are dedicated to the school. They look at it as our school.
Hmm.
So they have never been squeezed for money.
Right.
How will that terrorist or insurgent survive if he's going to take money which is being given by the people? The people will be angry. And just look at them. They speak fluent Hindi, fluent English, apart from their mother tongue. And the mother tongue changes valley to valley because the tribes change, so the dialect changes. But everything. The other day you were saying that small Manipuri girl also
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
singing
Hmm.
national anthem and other things. So that kind of spread is there. But yes, Christianity came during the Britishers' time.
Right.
The
Hmm.
Britishers brought in Christianity,
Got it.
and then it has spread. So they converted the
Hmm.
tribes when they brought them under the fold.
Hmm. And so, going back to the two major wars that we were talking about, because I had the privilege of being in Israel, I could talk to a lot of IDF soldiers as well. Now, here's something very surprising, which a lot of people think is just propaganda, but they showed me pictures. They have shown me videos. So I was at this local pub over there, and I was having my drinks, and I made friends with an IDF soldier. While talking, he actually told me, and his platoon that goes into Gaza to clear out and bring back the hostages. He told me every time they go into Gaza, there are schools, there are hospitals where you'll find little children carrying guns, holding guns, digging tunnels for the Hamas terrorists. And no one in the world believes this. Because how do you imagine a young kid being radicalized? But that is the truth. He has shown me pictures, videos, everything. And I asked him this question: if you're fighting the war against Hamas, if you're fighting that war against the ideology, how do you plan to finish them off? And that was maybe above his pay grade, an answer which he had no clue to. And we are fighting a similar war. How do you end these wars when you're fighting the ideology, when you're fighting such radicalized ideologies?
The whole problem starts uh, in ensuring that you control what is spoken on in the various religious institutions during the functions. What is taught that has to be curbed. Number two, I always looked on of the Western model of teaching slightly in one of the portions of it, in the sense that in the West, if you want to be a priest, you have to first finish your high school. It's after high school that you decide on theology. Then you study theology and become a priest. That's the model that I think we need to follow. Let the student complete his schooling and then decide which line to go to. By then, see, as a 6-year-old kid or 5-year-old kid, when you're teaching him something he doesn't understand, then he follows what is taught. But after the 12th grade, when he comes, he will question what is being taught. Today, a child completing the 12th is 17, 18 years old. So by then, he has been given a particular, and you have to be very particular in what you teach him in the school so that he comes up as a balanced, all round individual. Now, when he goes into theology, he will question that. Question the beliefs. Any belief. Not blind following, not blind superstition. You will question why. Then you will have a shift in your ideology, thought process. But if you're allowing kids to get into learning theology at 5, 4, 5, 6 years, you will get what the other chap wants. So that I felt was a better model to ensure. And as far as the ideology is concerned, you cannot kill it kinetically. You got to remove that whole thing out to a different place. That was the background to me telling locations for the Palestine state. It has to be removed from there. Put in a place where there are no other neighboring countries. It's in the middle of the desert. So there are no other neighboring countries that it can impact.
Almost like removing a tumor.
Yeah. And you placed it at a different place. Now they have to live with themselves. They have to thrive with themselves. Gradually that thought process will go. But if you think so, that is what I look at as IWT.
Because the ideology, it never dies.
Yeah. That is where the notion, you're very right. That is the notion of victory.
Exactly.
Even if 2 persons are out of 1 lakh soldiers fighting, even if 2 survive, they feel it's a victory because 30 years down the line, you would have ingrained more people into this ideology and come up. Okay. So IWT is this. To take this cancer away from your body. 90% of Pakistan is agriculture based. So when you don't have water, you migrate. You migrate and take your ideology to wherever you want to.
Yeah. We just don't want you close to our borders. Yeah. Rest, whatever you want to do, you can do that. Right.
So that is the problem.
Correct.
So it is difficult. See, they had the issue. The West could have forced Musharraf after the 9/11 thing, even after that parliament attack, when you were ready to attack. I thought we should have attacked. They had nothing available with them at that time. They had no oil. By the way, people don't know. They had no oil. So he went and begged the Americans. So the Americans gave them money and told him to change, but they didn't enforce the change in his education. Use the money for terror.
Correct.
So it is if let us say, even if Pakistanis say, okay, we are, and the UN and say the world bodies and India inclusive say, okay, we will see a close oversight. It will take multiple generations for this ideology to die.
Correct.
86, who started? He's 39 years old today. And you're seeing the difference.
Yeah.
It's about 41 years, for 39 years of rabid ideology. 4 generations. So you start today, 40 years down the line, 2065, you may see the change. So what happens in between?
Yeah, and there are people who say that if you give them a better economy, if you give them opportunities, it will change. But this doesn't change because I was speaking with a farmer over there in Israel, and she told me this, that right before 7th October, because 7th October was like their religious festival, right one day before that, she had like 12 people from Palestine who were working for her in her farm. All of them took a leave right one day before. And They told her that it's a religious festival for you. We don't want to be a part of it. So we are leaving. And later on, when the intelligence reports and everything came in, every worker that was working in Israel that had come from Palestine, they had given information to Hamas
Yes.
that where are the safe houses, how many people are there, how many people from the family are currently serving in the IDF.
Yes.
So this ideology doesn't stop even if you give them opportunities.
No. It can't change. Because it's an ideology. I can be a PhD in anything, but that ideology is with me.
Yeah. For example, that Al Jazeera journalist
Yeah.
who was killed recently, he was running the Hamas show.
Yeah. So it is, they have everybody, you can say from the less literate or illiterate who are the cannon fodder, to right at the top who are well heeled and very well qualified. Because ideology doesn't see your wallet. Ideology doesn't see your wallet.
Correct.
So ideology is there. So which is where I said that take out an ideology, you have to cut it out like a tumor and take it out. So that is 3 million, about maybe 2 million left now who can be taken out. What do you do with 220 million?
Correct.
That's water.
But do you have like a end date for this war to end? Like, do you have any?
Israel?
Yeah, Israel Hamas.
No, till the time they don't throw them out completely from Gaza, it
There
won't
are
stop.
reports that the Iran and Israel conflict, it might start again. The direct conflict between them. Hamas is of course one of the parts of
I
that.
don't think the Iranians will even think of starting a fight.
Okay, because I was reading there were some reports few days back.
Maybe that's a person's analysis. My analysis doesn't look at starting a fight because the Hamas is over. See, Hezbollah has, when Iran was being attacked, they thought Hezbollah and Houthis will come to their help. They just said, take a walk. That should be a telling statement. If Hezbollah and Houthis, who were being supported by Israel, refused to come to except for I think one odd missile with the Houthis fired, they didn't come to assist Iran. Okay, because Hezbollah doesn't like to be painted with the same bracket as Hamas today after the bestiality of October 7th. They have never done anything like that. And they fear that if they are equated, then the Israelis may push them out from Lebanon because the Lebanese people are now very angry with the Hezbollah. They don't want Hezbollah. They want their own army and not the Hezbollah. That if we have to fight the Israelis, we'll fight with our own army, not with you. So there are churnings that are taking place. So now you notice that I think that must have been the deal that the Americans gave to HTS when they gave them a portion of Israel and recognized them as, Syria and recognized them as a government. Israelis have gone north of Golan Heights and blocked all routes of the weapon supply routes to Hezbollah from Iran via Iraq. That has been blocked. HTS also is not too keen to permit Hezbollah to get weapons through that place. So Hezbollah now, but while they may say that, I'm sure it would be a little porous, some of the things could be reaching there. But Hezbollah doesn't seem to be interested in increasing the fights because the way the Israelis are looking at is there is a Litani river and there is one more river, I think, Alia or something further north. So the Israelis are looking at no Hezbollah deployments out of the Litani river and then this area to my understanding to be a demilitarized zone and them to be further north of that river.
Okay.
In the north.
Is it Orontes River or Hasbani?
No, Orontes. So, but Litani has always been their main issue. Like 2006 also when they went in, they tried to capture up to Litani. which they feel that if they are pushed back, then these short-range rocket attacks to North Israel and all will be not be a problem. So let's see how it goes. But Hamas is not going to stop in a hurry, because Hamas is not agreeing to give back the. Because the question which will start coming up is now, most of them I think are dead. So why did they die?
Are you talking about the hostages?
Hostage.
Yeah.
So why did they die? They were alive when you took them.
Hmm.
So how come they are dead? So there is an issue there, and Hamas feels that if without anything we give, then they will start losing face. And but I think these Israelis use the technology now quite well. They have small drones which goes into the tunnel,
Hmm.
and it carries a small bit of explosive with
Correct.
it, and explodes and kills those people. They send in 2, 3 and stun them, and then they go in. Let's see how they work out. It's not going to end so soon, because I think now that the talks have started, Trump's entire attention is on Russia, Ukraine,
Yeah.
so that he can get his Nobel Peace Prize. It's become a laughing point today in the world over.
Yes. Hmm.
Right. So the wars are not going to end so easily. I'm surprised it has not crossed all limits for Europe. At least for me, it has crossed all limits.
Yeah.
I'm backing Israel fully. People may say I'm bloodthirsty, but well, when you have a man eater, you don't treat it.
Yeah.
You kill it.
Yeah. And people don't realize this, that war is an ugly business.
Yes.
It's not your flowery thing that you would want only the terrorists to die. That is not how it works.
doesn't
Especially
happen.
if the organization is like Hamas, who are wearing civilian clothes.
No, not just civilian clothes. Hamas, the bulk of the civilians are followers of
Yeah.
Hamas.
Yeah.
They are helping them.
Kids
Yeah,
are
they're
helping them.
permitting them to come into schools and hospitals. They have underground bunkers in the hospitals.
Correct.
In schools, they have bunkers. The kids are helping them. Kids run messages and everything for them. They carry the weapons for them. How do you differentiate?
Hmm.
You can't. So, the radical Islam also has to take a pause to think,
Correct.
are they doing the correct way? Till now, they felt that the people may not be reacting to them. Now you find a country is not going to stop. Even if it's a child, they're going to blow him up.
Yeah.
So have you gone down the right path in what you're talking? Are you ready for your people to get butchered? You may cry and say that this is happening, but what is the cause?
Correct.
The cause is what you taught. Are you correct in teaching this, which is creating this problem?
But here's my question, because you talked about Europe. Now, whatever is happening with Israel and Hamas, we can clearly see that. Why can't Europeans see it? And also, there are like universities wherein the extreme left ideology is well entrenched.
Funding. The politicians are funded. The press is funded.
Hmm.
So they speak this voice only. You will not condemn the Palestinians for what they did,
Exactly, yes.
but you will condemn the reaction. That is the whole problem.
Hmm.
That is the leftist ideology. Because you are using the extreme Islamist radicals for your strategy. How will you speak against them? So you will try to create, no, they also have rights and they
Yeah,
also have
yeah.
this. So everybody has rights, but then your freedom to do or say anything gets limited by how it affects the other person. So if you're doing something which harms the other person has a right to hit back.
Correct.
So you can't say that he should be permitted to do it and you should not hit back, which is what is the thought process in the Western Europe. When I say Western Europe, the politicians and the media. So they earn the money, their survival is on that. If they don't do that, they won't get the money.
Correct.
He won't win the election. Just imagine Macron. The people are not with him. He is surviving only because he supported the extreme left and joined hands with them. That's how he's surviving. That means the people are not with you. So the people on ground understand, but where is the platform for them to voice their opinion?
Correct.
The only platform is elections. So you find one by one countries are getting toppled. Germany, they are fearing, so they went the judicial way to ban the AFD. Ridiculous. Just because someone speaks for the country, you ban him. Italy is gone. So you will find gradually the change will come once these people come into power. Where then the media will be kicked. Like it won't happen overnight. It's taken 10 years for our own media to get a kick, but you still have a media which is still radically left. You have media which are radically left, who will only speak ill of whatever is being done. Takes time. Well entrenched. It's almost about how much? 70 years now? Since the 80s this has been going on. 70 years plus. Things don't change so fast. Sorry, 45 years plus.
Yeah.
Almost 45, 50 years. Things don't change so fast. You're only now starting to change. The public is now getting aware and getting sick of the kind of reportage that is coming.
Correct.
So the change will come. Like I always say, whatever you're going to do, don't expect a change overnight.
Correct.
You are setting the platform, the foundation for the changes to take place. Concentrate on the foundation. The changes are the fruits that your future progeny will gain. The farmer who sows the seed of the mango tree and cares for it and nurtures it, it's not for himself. He is giving the fruits to his grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
Yeah.
Same is the case in setting the stage to correct things in geopolitics, in socio-political issues, that you set the platform today for the future progeny to bear the fruits. You try to do things in a hurry, your foundation will be weak, they will not reap it. कंक्रीट डालते हो 15 दिन उसको सींचना पड़ता है. डालते ही अगर बोले कि मैं इस्तेमाल कर रहा हूँ उस पर नेक्स्ट बनाने के लिए, वो कंक्रीट टूट जाएगा. तो व्हाट आर यू लीविंग बिहाइंड एज अ लेगेसी फॉर योर प्रोजेनी? दिस इज द लेगेसी. क्रिएट द फाउंडेशन. सींच के उसको स्ट्रॉन्ग करो, तगड़ा करो. आने वाले जो नस्ल हैं आपके, योर ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन, ग्रेट ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन विल थ्राइव and remember you proudly that this was the foundation given by my forebears. This is not a quick thing जो हम quick fix वाला बोलते हैं ना, ये करके मेरे को ये चाहिए. लंबी सोचो.
Correct.
पारदर्शिता रखो, लंबी सोचो.
Okay. I think it is a good note to end this podcast on.